Hello guys, welcome back to the crew calling all units. Circuit bike. Kawasaki Ninja in circuit spec, which is the bike with the highest top speed, so might be a choice to use on speed skill test, because that's sort of what we are doing here. We're gonna do the 3 skill tests for the current Summit Qualifier. And we were gonna test a bike versus a Dragcar, and let's start with this one. It has the highest top speed, but the problem is you're not really reaching that top speed. And also it's hardly controllable, that Kawasaki bike, on that jump. This bike in slipstream can do 460 kilometers an hour. That's all good. If you have a team around, you might be able to reach that, but even then. 10,700 something. Let's retry. This time, take a bike with some handling and some speed. BMW has a bit less speed than the Kawasaki, but since we don't reach top speed anyway in a solo run, the better handling might be a better choice here. And we're gonna take the left lane as well. Why? Because after the jump upcoming here now, you have a right entry from another highway, and there is always traffic there coming onto the highway, and that gives some problems. Yo. One car can do that to you. But it's a bit easier to maneuver through traffic with this thing. But also here you will not reach speeds over 400 kilometers an hour with the bike unless you have some teammates around who can give you some draft. Wall right here because I don't know what's going on with. I think there's a player standing here somewhere. And the result of that is that you have more traffic. If there are more players around, you will get more traffic. Probably a certain number of cars which is loaded depending on the player around. What do we get this time? 10,000 something, but if all goes smooth you can score 11,000 points, but that's all relative if you take out a Dragcar. Revs GTR3 1497, just on keyboard settings. I will show the settings later, but that means that this thing can be thrown into full throttle and you don't spin out. The only problem is for this corner here, you need to tap the handbrake to actually make this thing steer. So you steer, hit the nitro at the end, last 5 seconds or so, or if you can go a bit further or a bit sooner, it'll you can only use 1 bar of nitro, so doesn't matter that much. 14,600, okay. Let's try the left one. Here you see traffic coming, so you can anticipate a bit more on it. But since you are using a Dragcar on keyboard settings, even that doesn't matter. If you go on wheel settings, which is also an option, but I wouldn't advise it for this speed skill because you only have this one sharp corner where you can tap the handbrakes here once more, and then here. Traffic seems to be okay this run, can be a good one, or at least somewhere in the area. $15,500 something. Now, if you want to get scores to 17,000, you most likely need to come here with at least one teammate, so you can get some drafts, aka slipstream, at the end of the thing. That's sort of for the speed skill. Do we have something else here? Yep, there it is. This is... No, that was the escape keep telling speed skill. It was the escape what we were doing there. That meant you could drive all over the place, you can even hit cars, and the multiplier won't be influenced by it. This is a speed skill, that means you have to stay within the white lines on the outside of the road. And you also cannot hit a car, because that will influence the multiplier. The route we take is, we come from here, we take a left here, and we go all the way there. That's sort of the idea at least. Same situation. Start with the start. Kawasaki Ninja H2. Of course, a bike you can give some nitro where you want it, because you're sort of giving it nitro bursts. And there you go. You can restart immediately because it has no point. On the corner I hit that car, and that means that, although you couldn't see it because it was just giving me some medals, but the multiplier goes down. If you hit a car, if you hit something, if you don't stay within those little white lines here on the side of the road, forget about it. If you go over the white line, the multiplier will go down, or it won't stop counting meters. And if you hit a car, it's the same situation. Multiplier goes up, 1.7, 1.6, so on. If you hit one of those cars, the multiplier will go down to 1.7 again or something. Of course, with a bike it's pretty easy to keep it here in the middle and avoid traffic. But again, 10-11,000 points. Just like in the escape test, 10-11,000 points on a bike. With some slipstream you might get a bit more out of it, but I wouldn't count on it too much. There's only one corner that you have to take there, which again, I could take the BMW bike, but it won't make that much difference for that one corner. 10-11,000 will be the score you will get. Now, to Dragcar. Settings are still keyboard settings, that means pretty simple. Sport to, if you have it on full assist you have steering aid, and that's not a good thing with your keyboard, so go for sport or hardcore. I would advise just go for sport. Steering sensitivity at the maximum, speed factor at the maximum. I also have the linearities at the maximum, but that doesn't matter that much with a keyboard because you only go full power or no power, so the linearity has no effect on a keyboard. The only thing that matters with a keyboard is the sensitivity and the speed factor. If you have it on auto detect or on pad. Let's do one. Try to do a run one first. So like this, automatic gearbox. That means it really takes long gears to approach the finish line at around 370 kilometers an hour, and now you have a big problem because you need to take that corner to the left here, which is hard to take. Tapping the handbrakes, got away with it somehow, but hit the nitro somewhere at the point. try to keep your car in the middle of the road. It's especially at the last part or a few bumps, it's a bit tricky. There you go. That's what I mean. You don't see it coming and all of a sudden, poof, you're gone. Scored. What did we score? 13,000 points. Let's try again. Well, it's also the case that I'm not familiar with driving like this, but trying to show normally I drive like this with a drag car. So are we going to change something? Yes, we are. We're going to change to manual. And why to manual? For the simple reason, then you can shift sooner and you can reach the starting gate at around 430 kilometers an hour. Short shift to fourth gear, and as you can see, around the starting gate we had around 435 kilometers an hour. Also means you can go back to second gear here. Short shift to third again, to fourth. I usually take this corner and then I hit a nitro. And then you can sort of concentrate on trying to keep your car in the middle. And on that jump you always have to be careful. Normally I go off throttle and back on it. The reason was now I was outside of the track scoring 14,000. If you can keep it on the track, then you might be able to score 15, 16,000. Also here, just like in this escape test earlier, if you have someone around or even a team around, then you can do some slipstream, especially at the end. That means that the car will go around 600 kilometers an hour. That was too first. A bit too soon. Thought we were already on the corner. Okay. What we got this time? 14,500 this time. But you get the idea. Use a drag car. You can go on wheel settings as well. That makes it way easier to make that corner. Let's try that, shall we? So, sport, manual. Sensitivity, bring it down to 70-80%, something like that. The linearity doesn't matter that much. Oh no, I forgot the most important thing. Change from auto detect to wheel. Let's try that again. Now you have easier to take that corner, but also makes the car a bit unstable and have to be way more careful of heating up the tires. And it seems to be the truck run. There's always one run where you have the only thing that you see is trucks and buses. Really tricky at the high gears with wheel settings. You have to play around with the throttle. But of course you can make this corner. Just slightly tapping my steering keys, as you can see, which makes it a bit... and then you still lose it at the end, of course. Like I said, it's way easier to heat up the tires and actually lose the car. So for me, these high-speed skill tests where we use a drag car at high speed, I don't know. I prefer to do them on a keyboard on keyboard settings if possible, because these wheel settings at high speed, I'm not a fan of it. slalom or so is not an issue because you can keep it in second or third gear and then you don't do that much high speeds. But here it just doesn't work. At the end you always crash. What's my best here? Let's have a look. 15,900. I did score that on the keyboard settings. Okay, the third skill, which was Laguna Seca, I guess. Yeah, Laguna Seca. Laguna Seca, you have this S corner here. The idea is to try to avoid it as long as possible, which means that if you go that way, you immediately are gonna get that corner. So we all, at least most of the top of the leaderboard players, go the other way. Same situation as with the other two skill tests. Of course, we do need a handling bike now, so the Kawasaki Ninja is not an option. We'll just take. We will take the Kawasaki Z1000. You can also use the BMW though. But also here, doesn't matter that much. Oh. Moment. Sport, automatic, everything open again. Except for dead zone. Hello. Auto detect and retry. Back on the normal keyboard settings now. This corner is seriously tricky. Often lose the multiplier there. And the next one is even worse. Although losing the multiplier there at the end in that corner is not... if you go a bit wider you have more speed, so you can do anyway some extra numbers. Let's see, what did we get out of it? $4,085, but we lost the multiplier a few times, so let's try to do it without losing it. I had a break there, almost lost it. Lost it anyway here, but I lost it at the end here, scoring almost 4,100 points. Okay, so sport, manual, sensitivity 1-2, speed factor 1-2. Linearity, well, apparently it doesn't matter for a keyboard, I heard, but normally I put it like I put it all back too, but if the linearity doesn't matter for a keyboard, it's kind of pointless. Wheel settings, and we take out our Dragcar again. There it is. Pretty simple. Second gear, leave it there. A lot of playing around with the throttle. There you go. Was a bit too much. So we try again. Second gear, brake before the corner and then sort of let it go through the corner. And if you think, okay, I'm out, go back on the throttle. Same here, brake before the corner, not into the corner because then you can't steer. Oh, and I'm out. I'm going to third gear here. Till about on this bridge, go back to second. And here I brake and go back to first. Just explaining what I'm doing here, back to second. Of course we need to stay on the line, but... And then you have to go to deal with the S corner anywhere at the end. And then, if all goes right, you sort of finish here somewhere. But I had to do many runs to make it work, but try again. See if I can score at least more than on the bike, which 4100. No, it was too soon on the throttle there. And I missed the gear, didn't go back to first. What do we have? 4400 already. So it's pretty obvious in the qualifier that is running currently. For the 3 skill tests you need Dragcar. I had one run yesterday here where I didn't lose the multiplier anywhere. And it all went pretty smooth, and then made a little mistake at the end, scoring 4600. Oh, that corner, it's too soon on the throttle every time there. Yep. One click on your keyboard too soon, meaning one click on the throttle that is, and you lose it. Simple as that. That is probably where the wheel players can have a real advantage here, because, well, they can sort of go half throttle, which is not a keyboard option, because it's either full throttle or off throttle. And you can tap the key to sort of try to replicate half throttle, but yeah, it's never going to be the same as someone who is using a wheel and pedals. No, why? Why? Always that one tap too soon. Again, too soon on the throttle. So very often you're gonna deal with situations like this. 4300, 4400. And then there will be one run where you sort of, one or two runs where you get it together more or less. I heard it, and then I touched the throttle, and that's not good. You got this time 4,200. We're getting worse. Okay, come on, let's do this. Oh, come on, I was on the line. Seriously. Although multiplier lost in the first sharp right, we did manage to score 4,400. Oh my god, lost it there for the first time. I lost it there at the end, but what's the result? 4,790. It's all about the multiplier. If I didn't lose it at that last corner there, I still would have gotten myself a 4,800. This was sort of a combination video showing the difference between a bike and a drag car, which obviously is a few hundred points, as you can see in most of the skill tests here, and at the same time some footage of the skill test in the current qualifier, which I didn't have a video of yet. We'll see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.